From Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, where Chief Minister Mr Stalin has been staunchly opposed to a population-based delimitation. He led all Dravidian parties, in fact all parties except the BJP, which attended an all-party meeting today. They passed a resolution. Stalin asserted that the 1971 census, upon which the seats in the Lok Sabha were frozen, that census should be the basis for delimitation of the Lok Sabha seats for another 30 years starting 2026. Remember, the Lok Sabha seats had been frozen from 1976 up until 2026. So for 50 years now, we've not had any revision in the number of Lok Sabha seats. He also said at the all-party meeting, as part of the resolution that was passed by all the parties that attended today, Stalin announced the formation of a multi-party committee to create public awareness about this issue. The BJP, the Nam Tamilar Katchi and the Tamil Mandala Congress were three parties that boycotted the meeting. But some of the BJP's NDA allies in Tamil Nadu, the PMK, for example, one of the largest in the NDA, attended today's meeting. They also echoed Mr. Stalin's concern about the South and in particular Tamil Nadu losing its proportional weight when it comes to representation in the Lok Sabha.
தொகுதி மறுசீரமைப்பு என்னும் கத்தி தென்னிந்தியாவோட தலைக்கு மேல தூங்கிக்கிட்டு இருக்கு. இதனால தமிழ்நாடு கடுமையா பாதிக்கப்பட்டிருக்கு. இந்திய ஜனநாயகத்துல தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு கிடைக்கிற அரசியல் பிரதிநிதித்துவ உரிமை மீதான நேரடி தாக்குதல். இந்திய அரசியல்ல தமிழ்நாட்டோட குரல் நெரிக்கப்படும்.
So why do you want to penalize us for doing well in government of India's programs of population stabilization? So this is not a way to penalize us. We have been doing well, we've been contributing the most for India's economy. But then why should you penalize us? Our Honorable Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah ji, had come to Coimbatore and he had said that by the delimitation, we are not going to decrease any seats in Tamil Nadu or any southern states. But he has not mentioned how many seats he is going to increase in the northern states.
So the question is, Mr. Stalin has been sort of amping up the fear-mongering, if you will, around delimitation. How valid are his fears? The Delimitation Commission has to be formed. That, once it is formed, will have associate members from the Lok Sabha as well as all the legislative assemblies, including the Legislative Assembly in Tamil Nadu. The draft proposals are published, inviting objections and suggestions from the public as well. And at that time, any individual, including members of political parties, can express their reservations on these proposals. The Delimitation Commission has to hold public meetings in every state, including in the state of Tamil Nadu, to hear the objections and suggestions of the public. Members of various political parties can also participate in those public hearings. They can also indicate what their objections are, what their suggestions are to these proposals, which means that this whole process involves detailed consultations with political parties, with public representatives, and with the public at large in all of the states before any formula or any decision is arrived at as to which state gets how many seats basis proportional representation as a share in the population. So let's open this up to our guest. Mr. Kalyana Raman is leader of the Tamil Nadu BJP. S. Dharanidharan is spokesperson of the DMK. Dharani, let me start with you first. So basically, the all-party resolution today said that 1971 population-based seat allocation should be extended for another 30 years. We have not had change of Lok Sabha composition for the last 50 years. Another 30 years means for 80 years, we will have no change in the proportional representation in the Lok Sabha, the lower house, which is of course the ultimate sort of institution, if you will, where people directly elect their members of parliament. The population of Tamil Nadu in 1971, if you were to freeze the seats at 1971 levels, population of Tamil Nadu in 1971 was 4.1 crores. Today, Tamil Nadu's population is almost double at 7.5 crores, 7.4 crores. Population of Uttar Pradesh in 1971 was 8.8 crores. It has become 3x, 23 crores today. And yet you are saying for 80 years, there should be no change in the proportional representation in the Lok Sabha.
Hi, thank you for having me on your show. See, firstly and foremost, the problem is this. The population of Tamil Nadu increased only from 4.1 to 8 crores, doubled. But in many other states, it has increased by 4 times, 3.5 times. Even in Tamil Nadu, the population would have increased by 4 times, 5 times. Why did it not increase? Simply because the union government in 1970 said in the national interest, because the population explosion that we had in the 70s was not sustainable and the country would collapse. So we need to have child control. this was instructed by the union government to the states. The southern Indian states, including Tamil Nadu and Kerala, religiously followed this. And because we religiously followed this through campaign, aid, and also the inhabitants of Tamil Nadu followed this religiously, the population in Tamil Nadu declined. Now it has so happened that the total fertility rate in Tamil Nadu is about 1.6, below the replacement level. But now, how is it fair for you to penalize us for the decision that you took in 70s? The population
No, but
low.
so the solution to
Otherwise,
that
our
is to
population is
freeze the proportional representation for 80 years. How fair is that to Uttar Pradesh or Bihar or any state for that matter? Because right now, in a Lok Sabha constituency in UP, for example, one MP is representing about 30 lakh people. If the population is frozen for the next 30 years, one MP will be representing 50 lakh people. How fair is that?
No, see, but again, India is as per Supreme Court verdict, India is not just states are not just administrative units, they are also ethno-linguistic political units, which means each state represent a diverse culture and political economy, speaking different language. When representation of southern states reduces from 25% to about 16% in the overall Lok Sabha, which means the voice of the people in south of India, which nearly contribute about 30% of geographical space, drastically reduces in the parliament. No, so the bill could be passed only by 6 states in the north of India, which will reduce the deficit in democracy itself among the people living in the south or in the northeast or in the other parts.
So let me ask Mr. Kalyan Raman, the basic contention, the basic contention is that all political parties in Tamil Nadu seem to be opposed to delimitation because of the fears that Mr. Stalin has outlined, except the BJP. In a way, what he has done is he has singled out the BJP in Tamil Nadu.
Okay. Now, first of all, let us understand why DMK is raising. Keeping aside the delimitation factor, we have to first understand why DMK is raising issue, which is not the concern of rest of this country or rest of the states in the country. Okay. Now, DMK is losing out ideologically. DMK is behaving like an actor who is 70 years old who wants to look like 30 years old with a wrinkled face with makeup. And the absence of ideology that is broken by Seema in the recent days, they want to find solace in the form of creating trivial issues as big issues, unfounded, where there is no substance involved in it. Delimitation is not a talked about subject. In the absence of census, that is still not taken place. In the absence of a dialogue about it, in the absence of delimitation commission being formed, without any reason, all of a sudden, somebody is jumping like an urchin child and saying that there is going to be limitation and then there is going to be a huge loss of face for Tamil Nadu in the parliament. And hence, I am breaking up the issue. The issue is not delimitation per se. Okay, now you asked a question that every other political party is with the DMK today. But that's not the case when the CM of the state invites. Everybody prefers to go, which is just a simple fact. It is an invitation which people have to respect because it is an elected government. But then it does not necessarily mean that they did not ask a question, why are you creating ghost out of nothing? They are creating a monster out of nothing today in the form of delimitation because they are ideologically failing, as I said, like a 70 years old star.
No, but Mr. Kalyan Raman, if this was not an issue that political parties in Tamil Nadu cared about, if this was not an issue that resonates in that state, why are your own allies attending that party meeting? They've also supported this all-party resolution. NDA parties have attended today's meeting. Why?
When the CM says that there is going to be some such thing, when he creates a fear, a psychosis in the common man as well as the party, they do buy the play. It does not mean that they are going to be part of the alliance, right? They cannot be. Some of them cannot be part of alliance. For example, Vidudhai Chirtegal and PMK, they can never ever think of going together. But then why they are attending is because somebody has raised a concern. They just wanted to go and see, like somebody watching a joker on the street. This is the reality of the situation today.
So, Mr. Dharanidharan,
possibly multiple number of people.
The point is, census has not happened because in 2021 census was supposed to happen. It didn't happen because of COVID. Census allocation has not been granted in this budget 2025. So maybe census will not happen in this year. It could happen next year. After which the Delimitation Commission has to be formed. I just outlined the process that Delimitation Commission has to have consultation with all political parties. It should have representatives from not just the parliament, but also from various state legislatures. This is probably years away. Why is Mr. Stalin raising this now? As though, from next year, Tamil Nadu's share in the Lok Sabha is going to be taken away. This is probably 5 years away.
Ideological bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Ideological bankruptcy.
Mr. Dharani.
They are ideologically bankrupt. So they want to.
Mr. Dharani, please.
Let me speak. Sir, no. Firstly and foremost, I think the alliance partner, Patari Mukhil Kalchi, Rajya Sabha MP, Anbumani Ramadas, himself has come and said delimitation cannot happen, and if it should be freezed by the 1971. It is not that the fear mongering thing or anything like that. If you look last 2 years, even before DMK took it up, dozens of newspapers, India Today, Times of India, Hindu, they've written half a dozen articles, each of these papers, international paper included, because in 2026 the delimitation is going to lapse. The freeze on delimitation is going to lapse. 2001 Vajpayee put a freeze on delimitation for until 26. That is going to lapse. So come December 31st, 2025, then delimitation will have to happen as per population. That is the Indian constitution. So we want to freeze on it. That is the whole point. So it is not unfounded fear. It's a legitimate fear, because this is not like a work bill or any other bill that you have to create a bill and then the bill has to be passed.
Mr. Kalyan Raman, how do you respond to that? As per the Emergency Act that was passed in 2001, this will expire on 1st of January 2026. That is where the fear is coming from.
Exactly.
You rightly pointed out that there is no budget allocation so far as far as the census is concerned. In the absence of census, nothing can be done. In the absence of feedback from the common man, nothing can be done.
Okay.
In the absence of opinion of parties, nothing can be done. Number one. Number two, the delimitation is evolutionary in nature, not in line with what had happened in the past, because there is going to be a commission chairman. There are members from the MPs and the MLAs of Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
When all these have to happen, for which there is no
notification
ball set rolling, the thing is highly unfounded.
All right, we'll leave it at that. I'm really sorry, we're completely out of time. But thank you very much, Mr. Kalyan Raman, Mr. Dharani. We'll see how this plays out in Tamil Nadu as well as across the country.